Okay, everyone, we will begin the main council meeting in about 3 minutes. Calling all alders. Calling all alders.
Alderman Hayes.
Alderman Hayes to the dais. Alderman Hayes to the dais.
I think we should proceed. It's past 7:03, and we have a large agenda, and then we can sit Alderman Hayes at a later time. Because we have enough alderpersons for a quorum. So.
All right, the time is 7:03. I'd like to call the Tuesday, January 16, 2024 regular city council meeting to order, please. Roll call, Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Donalworth.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Hayes. Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Guzman.
Present.
And Mayor Taylor is absent. And on that note, I need a motion to seat Alderman Newsome as pro tem mayor for the January 16.
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Donalworth. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
All right, thank you. Did I see Alderman Hayes?
There's kids.
Oh, okay. All right. Item B, invocation by Aman Tariq Nassim from the Waukegan Missionary.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God the Almighty be upon you all. I'm honored to stand before you today representing the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. My name is Imam Tariq Nassim. We are the first Muslim organization in the United States. We're also the fastest growing denomination within Islam. We are Muslims who believe in the Messiah. And for the record, we're actually down in Zion. Before we pray, I actually just wanted to bring everyone's attention to something far more important than just tonight or the 4 or 5 blocks we live in or even in this country. I actually wanted to talk to you about the world for a quick second. Now, I'm sure all of you watching the news closely or have chosen basically to stop watching because it's painful or we've become desensitized and we kind of go around to our day-to-day life. But something that transcends here, the Midwest, even the West. It's something that's going to affect each and every person. And if we study history and we repeat the same mistakes, that's kind of foolish. And if we're looking at the world as a platform, What's happening in the Middle East, particularly between Israel and Palestine, is very concerning. And it's something that could be catastrophic even though we are so far away from them. The global head of our community has been championing peace and speaking about this, warning global seats of power from micro to macro levels. And he's been doing this actually for years, to come to the table with justice. And I just wanted to share with you his official statement. Warning the risk of a global war, His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmed Mehlevi, his strong and helper, states, the rate at which the state of war is escalating and how the Israeli government and other major global powers are adopting certain policies, it's apparent that a world war is staring us right in the face. If wise policies are not immediately adopted, the world will face devastation. All of this is being reported in the media. The state of affairs are in front of you all. Now, I just wanted to take this and take it away from politics and just seeing it in face value for what it actually is. And we hear a lot about justice. And I'm prefacing this for our prayer. You know, you see signs at protests, and we're seeing all over the media, no justice, no peace. What is justice, and why is it so hard to find? And we find actually in the Holy Quran, our holy book, we find the answer of what should be the standard of justice. And it's actually very difficult. O ye who believe, be strict in observing justice and be witness to God, even if it be against yourself, your parents, and close family. Whether they be rich or poor, Allah is more regardful of them than both of you are. So just sharing this is what justice is in Islam, that if it's against me, I should speak up. If it's against my family, I should speak up. You have to call a spade a spade. And when we don't see that, that's what we're seeing across the world. It's kind of imploding. So we of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, we believe prayer is not just something ritualistic that we do before meetings, but it actually holds great power. With that being said, I would like to pray. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, I begin in the name of Allah, who is the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything that is between them. This is chapter 2 of the Holy Quran, and it's literally, chapter means key, the key to everything. All praise belongs to God, Lord of all the worlds, the gracious, the merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we turn to help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your blessings, not those who have incurred your displeasure, not those who have lost their way. Ameen. With that being said, I'd like to thank the Waukegan City Councilor, particularly First Alder Person Dr. Sylvia Bolton, for reaching out to us, and we appreciate it. Anytime you would like to hear from us, anytime you would like to hear from you, you're always welcome at our place in Zion. We're a stone throws away. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we all rise for the pledge?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I am sitting in for the mayor and Taylor that is out of town. And first of all,
Can I make a motion to seat Alderman Hayes?
can I get a motion to seat Alderman Hayes?
I so move.
Motion by
Second.
Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Turner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. I know everyone saw the posters posted when they came in this evening that Alderman Larry Tempest passed away this morning. Retired alderman of the 6th Ward who served for 44 years. The city of Waukegan, we did a resolution for him back in August. I'm going to read a portion of that, and then I have some comments. Whereas Larry Tempest was a 2-time IHSA state wrestling champion, representing Waukegan High School Bulldogs. Whereas Larry Tempest was named the most valuable wrestler at the University of Illinois in 1954, 55, and 56. And whereas Larry Tempest proudly served in the U.S. Army from 1957 to 59. And whereas Larry Tempest was an educator, coach, and mentor for the Waukegan School District from 1959 to 1998, where he was instrumental in developing a grade school and junior high school wrestling program. And whereas Larry Tempest was inducted into the National Wrestlers Hall of Fame Illinois Chapter Lifetime Service of Wrestling Award in 2010. And whereas Larry Tempest was an alderman for the city of Waukegan representing the 6th Ward for 44 years. And whereas Larry Tempest worked tirelessly in his capacity and was elected for 11 terms and provided his expertise to 9 of Waukegan's mayors during his tenure. And now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Taylor and members of the City Council of Waukegan, Illinois do hereby recognize and honor his service and dedication to the community and to the residents of the city of Waukegan, 6th Ward. Yes, in August 8th of 2023, we did an honorary sign for him on the street of Hickory, right off of Glen Flora, and I think it goes all the way to Greenwood. When I came onto the council in 2003, I think Alderman Tempest had been here about 20 years already. So he, I have to say, he really helped me out a lot when I came in as a new alderman. Getting things in the budget, things of that nature, he was really instrumental in helping me out a lot. I sit next to him for 16 years up here on the council, and he would like to tell the story of how he had a 4-year vacation between those 44 years, a 4-year vacation at the voters' request. But when he came back and ran again, he couldn't be beat. It just made him stronger and more dedicated to the residents of the 6th Ward. And he would go to bat for those residents in the 6th Ward. He was truly a public servant, a politician, but he was a true public servant. And he gave me some of his tips when I came in on how to really be a good alderman to the people that you represent and you serve, and to be first and foremost a public servant, because that's what we are. We're here to serve. And I would just like to offer my condolences to his children, Janet, Lori, and Lawrence Jr., and their children. I know he's going to be missed, sorely missed. And not enough can be said about what he contributed to Waukegan. Growing up here, stayed here, went to the Army, came back, and then served more than half of his life here. He served the city of Waukegan. So my condolences to his family. The comments. The several Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations this weekend highlighted the work advanced by Dr. King, and that continues in civil rights and social justice. It also serves as a time of reflection and community service, and a number of city staff were able to attend some of the celebrations. I know some of the aldermen were at the Dreamers Breakfast on yesterday at the Gurney Holiday Inn, which was an awesome event. And I have to say congratulations to Supervisor Mark Jones and his staff on an awesome program. And also to the 2024 drum majors. I'd like to congratulate all of them. Next, we cannot say enough for our public works staff. We had our snowstorm, our first big one last weekend, and our public works snow fighters for digging us out from the big storm. I'd have to say that Waukegan Public Works has been second to none in this area when it comes to cleaning the roads. You can tell when you hit Waukegan city limits, and when you go outside of Waukegan city limits, you can tell that you're not in Waukegan anymore, because our Public Works Director, Mr. Chris, Supervisor, Alonzo, they have been on it, and they really deserve a round of applause. They keep our streets clean. They were working around the clock all weekend, cleaning the streets. When it froze, they were out on Saturday, Sunday, salting, and yesterday, salting the streets. So I can't reiterate that enough, that we have the best public works department, second to none. Then on another note, congratulations to the Waukegan Bulldogs, who won their Elgin Holiday Tournament this past, while they were out for Christmas break. And I have to have kudos to my grandson is on that team. So I have to say congratulations to Carter, too, and the Waukegan Bulldogs. They do have a game this Saturday. It would be awesome if everyone could go out and support them. They're doing great things for the Waukegan Bulldogs, and it would be wonderful to have as many residents in the city of Waukegan and outside of the city of Waukegan come and support them. Congratulations to 2 Waukegan High School senior musicians on being selected to participate in the prestigious Illinois Music Education Association's All-State Concert Series. Gustavo A., which plays a tenor sax in the All-State Honors Jazz Band, and is now the #2 tenor sax player in the state of Illinois. Congratulations to him. And then we have Evelyn B., who is a second soprano in the All-State Chorus. In addition to 31 student musicians, 31 student musicians were selected to participate in the Northern Lake County Conference Honor Band Festival in early February. So we congratulate them. They're doing great things over there in Waukegan. And one more note on Waukegan High School students. 18 members of the class of 2024 have been recognized as Illinois State Scholars. The honor is given annually to students across the state for exceptional academic achievements. So congratulations to them. Finally, we all know the temperatures have really dropped and are going to continue to be in the low digits the next several days. So consider leaving your cabinets under your sinks open and water on a slow drip if your faucets are next to an outside wall, to keep them from freezing up. Be mindful of family and neighbors, especially the elderly, ensuring they have winter supplies. Warming centers are on our website, and as always, if you're looking for emergency resources, you can always contact United Way of Lake County's 211. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can be reached by calling 211, texting your zip code to 898211, or going to their website at 211lakecounty.org. And that is all of my comments this evening. Next on the agenda, item 2, there's no resolutions, proclamations, presentations, or appointments. Item 3 is audience time.
Thank you, Alderman
Deputy
Newsom.
Clerk.
Thank you, Alderman Newsom. You have 3 minutes to speak, and you'll be timed. When I call your name, if you can please line up to the east side of the room and reiterate your name for the record. I've got Kathy Charity, Clyde McLemore, Margaret Carrasco.
Good evening, everyone. During the last city council meeting, there were strong discussions regarding the migrants. These are not migrants. These are illegal immigrants. Last week and many weeks before that, I've seen many buses. In fact, I took a screenshot of a bus leaving the Belvedere Ball. Yes, these are people, and I sympathize with these people, but they have broken the law. I have illegals behind my residence. They are wearing shirts, no coats, flip-flops. I've seen them at the dollar store looking the same way in this inclement weather. It's very sad. Okay. I don't have a problem with anyone coming to this country legally, but illegally I do, especially when we have homeless people, homeless vets, and Americans that are trying to make ends meet. This migrant situation is above all of us. The government chiefs who's orchestrating this is infiltrating chaos within the fabric of this country. Those who sympathize and support these people is also a part of the problem. I do not want people that I do not know living around me. I don't know where they are, what they're capable of, or anything else. I hope Waukegan, the city of Waukegan, get this together, because many of us do know the number to ICE. Thank you.
Mr. Clyde McLemore.
Well. The Waukegan police finally got one right. The city state's attorney's office filed charges on the officer. This kind of police work is done every day all over America. And when I saw the video, tears rolled down my eyes. And the officer had the nerve to ask the young man, "Why did you fall?" Just like we saw police in Memphis kick the wind out of Tyree Nichols, pepper sprayed him, and turned around and arrested him for resisting. He died 3 days later. So many times this happened because the person is black or brown and is overlooked, thanks to the police officer who reported that. This is why it's important for the city should create a citizen review board. Right now, if a citizen writes a complaint, who reviews the complaint? It's officers investigating officers. The code is silent, prevent proper investigation into complaints. The video of this officer throwing a young man to the ground has proven how important it is to have this citizen review board. How many officers got away with it in the past? We'll never know the answer to that question because it's a secret, a Waukegan police secret. Now, the city has created an ordinance that no balloons released in the city. How would this be enforced? What would you go and do? Have the police arrest people who are respecting their lost loved ones? Will the city ban release of doves? And will the city stop the fireworks shows? We don't know where that land at. If you do one, you got to do them all. Alderman Lynn Floor, you want to ban plastic bags. So a family goes to the grocery shop with these high-ass prices on food. Now they have to buy bags to carry their groceries home. Small businesses have to spend more money for to-go items. What planet are you from? You think Waukegan is booming and can afford to put these demands on these small businesses? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Margaret Carrasco.
Okay, yes, good evening. So this morning, I decided to go and attend the county board meeting. And there I am, all bundled up, walk into the building, get into the elevator, you know, to go up to the, I don't know, what, sixth floor, whatever, 10th floor, whatever. And I look up. I'm just there kind of like, okay, and what do I see? City of Waukegan Certificate of Elevator Inspection, name Lake County Building, address 18 North County Building, date of inspection February 8th, 2019. Type passenger, location, has the number, kind of power, condition of elevator, satisfactory only. 3,000 pounds. And guess what name is on there? Sam Cunningham. Ouch. And Mike Pertel. So I was like, how the heck could this be? So I took it upon myself to go to every single elevator at the county building. I think there's like 15 to 20. Every single one of them is in violation. The city of Waukegan has not been professional, not done their job, and not inspected the elevators that thousands of people go up and down, employees, citizens, children. What the heck? How could that be? Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that elevators are by law, under state law, and there's an Illinois elevator code. That's the law. I'm sure Stu knows about it, okay, as he's looking it up right now. A safety division, and where it requires every single elevator in this town to be inspected for safety reasons. In addition to that, folks, my understanding is it's an OSHA violation. So I have filed a complaint with OSHA for every elevator at the county building, but I'll bet you $1 that there's more elevators that have not been inspected this entire years that Ann Taylor has been in office. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a legal
Thank you, Ms.
document.
Carrasco.
Thank you.
The next speaker, I believe it's Uriel, unless I mispronounced it. I can't really make it out. Then Wygenia Briscoe and Rayon Edwards. If you can get ready for your 3 minutes. Thank you. State your name, please.
My name is Joe Rivera. Good evening, everybody. I just come to complain by the police department. I was trying to do a police report last Thursday, the 11th, and I ring the bell, so I told the police officer what was the problem, and he goes like, well, we won't be able to help you all. You have to do it by internet. You gotta use your computer. Go like, well, I don't wanna do that. I wanna do it in person. Well, we're not allowed to let you get in. So I don't understand why they don't let USA citizens to get into a police department to do a police report. So I called one of my friends, so they told me, well, start filming everything and go again. So I went back to the police department office. I rang the bell. They saw me with the phone. So the police officer is like, oh, okay. Don't I tell you already you got to do it by computer? Goes like, no, I want to do it by person. So he saw me doing this with the phone. Goes like, oh, okay, don't worry about it. Let me open the door for you. So he opened the door. Goes like, well, I'm very busy. So you sure you want to do it in person? Goes like, yes, sir. I want to do it in person. Okay, it's gonna take me a while. So it take about 2-3 minutes, and then he goes like, well, I'm not saying you won't be able to film. It goes like, I'm not saying you told me not to film. I am in a public place. It goes like, yeah, but I didn't say anything else. It goes like, well, you told me I'm not supposed to be doing a police report inside. It was like, oh no, I didn't say that. So I hope you guys check the cameras. That was Thursday, the 11th. That was between 8:45 to 9:15, 9:20, when they let me get in for the second time. I mean, but it's kind of upset. If you have an emergency or anything, they're gonna tell you you're not supposed to be getting in. I mean, what's going on with police department? Oh, that's because they got a new rules with Mrs. Ann Taylor, tell them not to let Spanish people to come in or anything, or why? It's kind of stupid what I saw. I mean, what about if it was something else, emergency or anything? Do I have to call 911 to do a police department report? It's kind of upset. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Waukegan Briscoe?
Edith, you stole my thunder. I was coming up to compliment the Public Works Department. Every time my guy came to clear my driveway, the trucks were coming by so much, they kept pushing the snow on my driveway. So as a resident of Waukegan, I just want to say they did an awesome job. And to your point, when I drove to Lake Bluff, when I went to Gurnee, no matter where I went in the surrounding communities, our streets were always better. So kudos to our Public Work Department. Sometimes we come up here and we don't give praise where it should be, so I just want to say thank you to the Public Works. On another note, it's public information, so I'm just going to bring it out there. The other day, Ray went live, and he talked about some threats that were made to him because he always comes up and speaks about Guzman and Felix. I just want to say, as a supporter, there are a lot of us that follow Ray. We support what he does, and we support what he says. The threats came to him regardless. We will continue. If we have something to say about any alderman up here, we will come to this podium and we will say it. I think right now he's been saying comments about Felix and Guzman. He's First Amendment right, he can say and do whatever he wants to. First Amendment right. So the threats that he receives, if someone backs him down, there will be others that will come to the podium and support what he's saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Briscoe. Rayon Edwards, please.
Well, Ms. Briscoe stole my thunder, and I spoke about it on my live. I don't know if it's coming from you gentlemen or not, but it's real funny that after I started speaking out to you guys, this is not the first time, but I want to come up here and look both of y'all in y'all face and let y'all know I'm not scared. I'm not. You're a public official. It's my job to call you out. That's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to continue to keep doing it. You know, one thing we have to know about living in a small community is not much you can do that everybody else ain't gonna know. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And I'm a kid from the block. I know some of everybody. And if I don't know them, I know how to find them. So that push that y'all do, that you sit up there like you old mob boss and how you dictate and how you speak to people, you got the right one. And my elders saying, and what they used to say back in my days, you got the right yo-yo, just the wrong string. Shout out to you, Mr. Garland. We appreciate what you're doing. I'm going to also piggyback on the police department because everything seems to change. We know that the police chief is ran by the mayor. I'm so disappointed that she's not here. This is the third chief we've had since she's been in that seat. Disgusting. I'm trying to understand this. And every time we come up here, we're talking about something that's happening at the police department. We pay out thousands of dollars for training. For what? What are we training them to do? Is this training lacking what compassion is, what that looks like, the understanding of it? Do we not know what people are going through out here in this community? And then I'm going to piggyback on this young lady. Because I asked y'all months before they came into the city. I said, y'all, what we gonna do? They coming. I said, the asylum seekers are coming. I said it. I said it here. I said it at the county, North Chicago, Zion. I said it everywhere. And I asked all of y'all, do we have a plan in place? And we don't. We still don't. The mayor gloated about what she did to, what's the place? Ramada Inn. Well, guess what, Chief? They still sleeping up in there. They're still there. And it seems like nobody seems to give a damn. Have anybody went in any of these hotels out here that we are putting these homeless people in? They are bed bug infested. And you aldermen want to change ordinance? How about we stop these landlords from price gouging? $100 for an application fee. How about you guys look at the special events? I got to pay $450, a non-refundable fee, just to do an event. So when you guys look at the ordinance, look at the right one.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
Not the ones your friends
Thank
want.
you, sir. Alderman Newsom, that concludes audience time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Item 4, the consent agenda.
Make a
All right.
motion.
I take a motion by Alderman Turner.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donnerworth.
Actually, Chairperson Newsom, I'd like to pull item.
Hold on, before we pull them out. That's first by Alderman Turner, second by Alderman Donnerworth. What did you want to pull out?
Line item F.
F is in Frank.
Correct.
Are there any other items? Any other items? We have a first and a second to go with the consent agenda. We will do items A, B, C, D, E, and G. Item A, motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. Item B, ordinance approving zoning calendar V-4-23, the vacation of a portion of the Western Avenue right-of-way, also known as New York Avenue, south of Beach Road, near 1607 West Beach Road, with compensation to the city in the amount of $1,635, referred by the Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Item C, ordinance approving zoning calendar V-5-23, the vacation of a portion of the right-of-way known as Northern Avenue between Wadsworth Road and Aviation Drive and Pickford Street, stretching 131.9 feet east from Northern Avenue, with compensation to the city waived due to long-term partnership with Port Authority and economic benefits of the airport, referred by the Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Item D, an ordinance approving zoning calendar 2735, the preliminary and final plat of BMC subdivision at the northwest corner of Grand Avenue and Green Bay Road for a new interior lot between 724 North Green Bay Road and 3300 Grand Avenue, referred by Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Item E, a motion to approve vendor payments dated January 15th, 2024 in the amount of $547,051.66. Item G, a motion to approve miscellaneous payroll, PD, CT cash out, EO, and CS final payouts dated January 12th, 2024, in the amount of $28,992.13. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Item F, Alderman Guzman.
Okay, I'm going to push this along, but I just wanted to make a couple comments, okay? So this is a light item to motion to approve regular payroll dated January 15, 2024 in the amount, I'm sorry, in the amount of 1.9 million plus. Okay, so the reason I pulled this is to make a comment. Okay, last Friday, City Hall closed for inclement weather. Okay, absolutely not. Chief Navarro, Chief Azer, and Director Garland had all their people come in and work here. So City Hall closes doors, okay? Nobody, their employees came here on their regular cars, didn't have anybody pick them up. If they couldn't make it to work, I'm sure they called Uber or a cousin or an aunt or a brother, but they came to work. But City Hall closed its doors. We should not, in my opinion, should not close City Hall. There should only be a few reasons why City Hall should be closed, in my opinion. 1, a pandemic. 2, a state of emergency. And 3, we are at war with an invading nation. Other than that, City Hall must be open for city services unless those 3 calls. So, saying that, I would like to put a motion in forward for everybody who came into work that day to receive a floating holiday, because everybody else who didn't come to work, we sure paid them, we're about to pay them. So they will receive a floating holiday to be used whenever and whoever they please. The people that showed up to work.
I have a question. Did all the employees work remote from home on Friday, or any? So they work remote from home?
The city's remote remote policies were enacted per the Chief of Staff's order.
Yes, Alderman, I was here, and I did have all my people working thereafter from home. And my understanding is that Chief of Staff and the Mayor also directed anybody that needed to work from home. My staff did work from home after 11 o'clock because they were here.
See?
So they worked.
No.
So, and I'm not sure if we can administrate, we are legislators. We're not administrating people get floating holidays. We can't do that.
Exactly. We're legislators. Okay, we're not administrators. I agree with that. Okay, so that's why I put a motion in to grant whoever came into work to work, not at home, to work, to City Hall, to Police Department, to the Fire Department, they be granted a floating holiday or a day off of their choosing. That I can grant.
No, not really, but
Not legally.
I think.
Alderman Hayes.
Yeah, thank you, Alderman Newsom. First of all, I don't think now's the appropriate time to make motions when we're voting on the consent agenda. Also, I think that we give a lot of leeway, discretion, and authority to our department heads to make those decisions based on what's right for their employees and whatever circumstances their employees may be facing. And we can't just start making rules that impact some and not others, or rewarding some employees for coming to work or not. I think the biggest issue that jumped out to me is that we might just have a union issue, that we would then find ourselves incurring attorney's fees, potentially facing litigation if we start doling out floating holidays to some and not others. So that's the one right off the top of my head. But I also just think it disincentivizes and could create friction among city employees. And frankly, that's not our role. That's not our position. I think we should stay in our lane on this one and give the authority to the mayor and the department heads to do what they think is best for their individual employees and rely on their employees to do their jobs, whether they're at City Hall or at home.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you. So the police came in, the firemen came in, Public Works came in. That's the bulk of our employees right there. I mean, and then other people worked from home. I mean, we're talking about a very small percentage maybe of people who didn't quote unquote work that day.
So,
What is the point of making such a big deal out of this when you're talking about a very small percentage of people?
so it's okay, so the way I see it is okay for a blue collar worker to so-called risk their lives to come to work, but a white collar worker not? No,
The
I don't,
policemen
I
and
don't, I
firemen
don't.
sign up to work 24 hours, 365 days a year. I mean, that's their
but-
gig. That's
but
what they
we are a city in the northern part of the United States of America, in the great state of Illinois, that has snow, that has high winds, that has rain, that has everything. We come to work unless a state of emergency is done, a pandemic or something else, majorly. Not only a few inches of snow.
Alderman Guzman, what would you do if maybe their children's school was canceled? Should they leave their kids home alone? Oh, is that not a good enough excuse? Safety of their families? I think you're walking out on a ledge here, and it's going to be hard to walk back. I think we just give the discretion to our department heads. We rely on them to make the judgment call. We approve whatever letter we're on here, F, and we move on.
Mr. Stu?
Regardless of the procedural appropriateness of Alderman Guzman's proposed motion at this time, City Hall was closed pursuant to a decision of the mayor and the chief of staff. It was done based on safety and ensuring that people who didn't need to be on the road weren't on the road. It was also a decision to make sure that resources were properly allocated. To give a holiday to certain employees, and when other employees who did work from home or stayed at home pursuant to a work order do not get that same benefit, I cannot stress how highly I would not recommend doing that from a legal perspective.
Thank you, Corporation Counsel. Can I get a motion for item F?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Hayes. I'm writing. Second by Alderman Florian.
So, before we move forward, I have something else. Okay, so we're not going to move forward on this, but what is the, I mean, this just can't happen. It's a few inches of snow. We're in the northern part of the United States. It just cannot close down. I mean, that's why you have vacation days, you have sick days. I mean, you use those, but we don't pay you to stay at home. You come to work. I went to work. You should come to work. If I can't get to work, I look for something else. I call Uber. I call my mom, my dad, my uncle, my brother, my sister, my cousin, whoever. Hey, or my coworker. We come to work. Businesses were open. Everything was open. We come to work.
All right, thank you. Can we, item F, we have a first Alderman Hayes, a second Alderman Florian. I will read the motion to approve regular payroll dated January 12th, 2024, in the total amount of $1,963,368.25. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donalworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
Thank you. Do we want to, well, we have some items that we have to take out anyway. Do we want to do,
I looked, if we start at H, I think we can do a consent agenda from H through R and then go back
okay,
and do.
and then go back to the other ones? Okay. Can I get a motion to do consent agenda?
So moved.
Alderman Florian, second by, for consent agenda items H through R.
Second.
Alderman Hayes.
So we have a first and a second to take items H through R on new business as an omnibus vote.
Omnibus. Do
Yeah,
we have to roll call
I'd like to
vote that?
I'd like to pull a couple of them out, please.
You want to pull out of the H's?
I want to pull out G,
We're not doing G.
It's
And-
only H through R.
It's H.
Q.
Well, H and Q. But we're not pulling out H, are we? You said H too?
I said G.
G. Oh, okay. So we're
G would-
going
G
H,
G is not included in the omnibus,
right.
right?
We're going H through P and then R. We need a roll call for that to go omnibus. This is to go omnibus.
Yeah, so we had a motion to go omnibus for items H through R as an omnibus vote. Alderman Turner requested that item Q be pulled from that. So assuming there's no objection to that from the original movement and the second, then the motion is to consider items H through P and item R under new business as an omnibus vote, leaving items A through G and items Q on new business to be discussed individually.
So that's a roll call for the omnibus.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes. Oh, all right. Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll start with H.
Did you want to start with A?
Oh, excuse me, A. We're going to go A, B, C, D, E. No, we have to take out C, D, E, and G.
Well, are we doing a second omnibus?
We have to take,
Sorry.
then come back to all those? Okay, we'll start with H and then come back to all those, because some of them have to come out anyway.
Are you just reading them off? Is that what you're doing? I'm sorry.
I'm
I
gonna read
didn't
them.
realize what was happening.
Yeah, I'm going to just read them off. H, a resolution approving the purchase of a tow-behind generator from Buckeye per section 2-458, subsection I3, joint purchasing through Sourcewell for an amount of $119,446, referred by the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on January 16th, 2024. I, a resolution approving the purchase of 2023 Ford Escape from Coons Auto Group per section 2-458, subsection I-7, good faith waiver for not to exceed amount of $34,760.03, referred by the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on January 16, 2024. J, a ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 10-15 of the Waukegan Code of Ordinances, staff initiated, referred by Public Works and Infrastructure Committee on January 16, 2024. J, ordinance amend, did that. K, a resolution authorizing the procurement of a 2024 Ford Transit van from Curry Motors in the amount not to exceed $56,982.24, referred by the Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Item L, a resolution approving an agreement with Flourish and Thrive Lab, LLC, for the development and implementation of a business continuity management system in the amount not to exceed $251,311, referred by the Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Item M, a resolution authorizing the procurement of printers and copiers from Impact Networking, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $40,000, referred by Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Item N, a resolution authorizing the procurement of data backup software service from Fortress Data Management in a not to exceed amount of $44,000, referred by Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Item O, a resolution approving an extension to the agreement with Main Star, Inc. for annual support and hosting of land management system enterprise software in amount not to exceed $40,466.87, referred by Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16th, 2024. Item P, a resolution authorizing the procurement of ticket system printers for the police department from CDS Office Technologies in the amount not to exceed $51,000, referred by the Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Item R, a resolution to approve letter of understanding with Green Oaks regarding water billing, referred by Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Now we'll go back to item A. And I'm going to need a motion for item A.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Turner, second by Alderman Bolton. Ordinance approving zoning calendar 2733, variance from the minimum lot size, front setback, and landscape buffer requirements applicable to garages for motor vehicle storage, repair, and servicing under the B2 Community Shopping District regulations at 840-842 South Genesee Street, referred by the Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Are there any questions to this motion?
I have a question. Or more of
Alderman
a-
Hayes.
More of a comment than a question. I believe that there were some conditions that were not imposed by the Planning and Zoning Committee, but are recommended by staff. And, okay.
So that actually, and I had mislabeled the piece of paper that I put on your dais, that is for item 7B, which pertains to the same exact business, but the condition, normally we do not put conditions specifically on variances. Conditions are usually attached to conditional use permits. So the reason that both of these were pulled from omnibus is because they do concern the same building and the same business. But the conditions that that I put a copy on are for the next item.
All right.
Yeah, and Noelle could come up, and if you'd like her to come up and kind of explain how both of these ordinances for relief interrelate, that might be helpful.
It makes sense to me, but if anybody else wants the director to come up.
Anybody want a question?
Actually, I do.
Alderman Guzman?
Director Norwell, good evening. Okay, so last time, I remember this was in committee, and I had commented on this particular shop. Okay, so here's my question. So if it's the same business as it was before, and it's just sold to somebody new, then why is it new stipulations to the new guy and not the old guy?
So it's not the same business. It's an auto-related business, but the former business was an auto body shop that was owned by the same ownership and operated the same way for something in excess of 3 decades. I don't know exactly how long. Predates my time in Waukegan. This is a new owner doing also an auto business, but an auto repair shop, not an auto body shop. Under a different business name, has had a business elsewhere in Waukegan that, as I understand it, had some issues of concern at one point in time. And so it is standard that under our zoning ordinance, any auto repair is a conditional use, whether it's auto body, automotive, motor repairs like this one. Any auto use is a conditional use only. And that enables us to put conditions on it that are specific to that property and that use at that location. So in this particular instance, it's zoned for residential use. DRB allowed that's Development Review Board, the staff committee of department heads that reviews some variances and issues in the community, they extended the non-conforming use allowance for the property because it was an auto repair for such a long time. It lost its nonconformity because it was empty for a while it was on the market, but the subsequent interest in it was all for auto uses. So DRB made an extension of the non-conforming use subject to approvals of any variances and a conditional use permit.
So my question is this, okay, so I've been to Casey's Auto Body. I was born and raised in Waukegan. So my insurance, I had a buddy recommend me to that shop, and they actually did the repair. They did a good job, and they actually did not just the body. They repaired what was, I think I remember, it was some mechanical stuff. I don't quite remember. It was years ago.
Sometimes that goes along with auto body when it's an accident. Sure.
Exactly. So what is the difference between that and them? So, I mean, I remember when this came up, I recommended, like, okay, why don't we, because we can't, I don't want to be judgmental just because they're a new guy and the other guy was there for 3 decades. We don't know what these guys are going to do. I mean, if we can do their permit for like 6 months or whatever, and on a regular permit, and if they don't comply, then go to a conditional.
So the only way that we can carry over a conditional use permit from one business to the other is if it's a seamless transition. If it's less than 6 months and it goes from one business to exactly the same business under a different ownership, then a conditional use permit carries over to a subsequent owner. Any change in use, even from an auto body to an auto repair, is a change in use that triggers the conditional use permit requirement. So our code requires that it be a new conditional use permit.
So as long as they follow the conditions, I mean, because it's a whole different new thing than just what Casey's Auto Body has. I mean, you're adding more stuff to it.
Well, Casey's Auto Body was operating before we had the zoning ordinance that exists now, so they predated that ordinance. I don't know whether under the, I think that would have been the 1964 ordinance probably that they came in under. That was before I was born. So I'm not sure whether there were conditions that applied to that or not, if it was a conditional use permit at that time. I've actually never seen the 1964 ordinance itself. But the 1988 ordinance as amended, under which we're currently operating until the UDO is adopted, that requires any automotive use to have a conditional use permit in whichever zoning district it exists.
What are the conditions? What are we talking about here?
There are a series of them. Let me pull them up on my phone.
Landscape
They're printed out
buffer.
for you.
Thank you, Noel.
Okay. I don't have the printout in front of me, so bear with me while I look at the ordinance on my phone. So many of them are standard conditions, like you have to continuously have a City of Waukegan business license. All businesses in Waukegan have to have that in order to be legally operating a business. The property and the repair shop must be maintained and operated in full conformance with the zoning ordinance requirements for the B2 shopping district. As I said, this is a residential district, but because the non-conforming use was allowed, we're applying the rules for a B2 district, which is the closest business district to residential that allows an automotive use, if that makes sense. So we're allowing an exception from the residential and applying the lowest standard, not the highest standard, to this use. The operation of the repair shop must comply with all other local, state, and federal laws that apply to such uses. That's a standard condition that's in all CUPs. The applicant must obtain a sign permit for any signage associated with the repair shop. Any signage that is erected to direct customers must be located on the property as a permanent directional sign that complies with the Waukegan sign ordinance, standard condition. All building code and life safety requirements of the building must be met to the satisfaction of the building and fire departments, standard condition. Site lighting must be dimmable and dark sky compliant and not exceed 4,000 Kelvin temperature. Standard condition, it's a newer one because we're now watching that and trying to be protective of the light environment, but it is a standard condition. There may be no storage of vehicles, trucks, or materials unrelated to the business located at this property. Any vehicles waiting for service must be properly parked in marked parking stalls. Standard condition for automotive uses. No vehicles or any equipment associated with the repair shop may be stored or displayed within any public right-of-way. rules across the board for any business, whether it's a conditional use or not. You can't store your stuff on city property. Continuous curbs, wheel stops, or other similar means must be installed on the property to assure that vehicles will not extend beyond the perimeter of the parking lot. Standard for parking lots, you don't want the cars to overhang onto a sidewalk or onto neighboring property. All repair of vehicles must take place within the confines of the building. No repair of vehicles is permitted outdoors, in front of the property, or within any public right-of-way. Standard condition for automotive repair.
So instead of reading everything that's standard, let's move on to the stuff that's not standard, because
Okay.
we understand that stuff, so.
All right, let me skim
I'm sorry,
through
can I
and-
just interrupt here for 1 second, please? I mean, the proprietors, they're all in agreement of what they need to meet, right, the standards, so I don't think we need to go on and on and on and on. We'll be here all night. Can we just move forward and vote on it? I mean,
Do they
they're
have
all
any
here
issues?
in agreement with what they need to do in order to comply, so.
So the reason this is not, that it's on the new business agenda and not the consent agenda, is that there are certain conditions that the petitioner asked be waived at the Planning and Zoning Commission. Planning and Zoning Commission was amenable to some of that, and staff thought that they were important conditions for the city council to consider. So the ordinance is written such that some of the conditions N through R, are highlighted, and those need to be decided by you whether or not to include them, which is why this was not on consent agenda. These need to be addressed. N through Q were ones that appeared on the original staff report as conditions. R has been added as a result of the site visit that was done prior to the Community Development Committee meeting and the staff's concerns with the condition of the property as it was being handled at that time. So those are a privacy fence on the south property line. This property abuts residential zoning on all sides. So a privacy fence would be protective of the residential property adjacent. No portion of the repair shop on the property may be used as a towing operation where cars are towed to or from other properties. That's relatively standard for automotive, but not for other conditional uses necessarily. The landscape setback is set forth in city code, include both of those actually, P and Q, the solid screening of plantings, etc. And the ordinance allows us to grant up to 24 months for that, so that's what we've put in here, to allow up to 24 months for the installation of that. And then R, the new one, is the storage of bins and containers and vehicle parts shall not be located, stored, or displayed outside the building. Proper screening is required. So those are the conditions that you need to determine whether or not to include in the ordinance, and that's why this is on new business.
And that is in, that's with item B.
Item B, correct.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Alderman Floria.
So, and I don't know if this is proper to do it in A or B, so if this isn't proper for this one, let me know. But I know when you went out to do the site visit, there was illegal signs on the building. Have those been removed?
I'm sorry, I have not been out there, so I don't know the answer to that. It was brought to the applicant's attention that they were not legal signs because there had been no sign permit application for those. So there either needs to be an application to get the existing signs approved, or they need to be removed and then.
Okay, does
new signs
Mr.
applied.
Sellis know, or can the applicant tell us?
You don't know. The petitioner says they've put in an application for the signs.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you. So I'm kind of confusing. Maybe you can just clarify either way there's auto repair. You either repair the body or you repair muffler. What, I don't understand why the distinction. So I mean, if I take my car in there, I got an accident, and they have to replace the door because they can't repair it, right? So they just replace it. Or I take my car in there, I needed a new catalytic converter. They got to replace it. What's the difference?
The current zoning code distinguishes between them. The Unified Development Ordinance will not.
Oh, there you go.
But the current zoning code does, it lists them separately.
So, were the applicants, they object to all of those changes or restrictions?
They can probably speak better to what their request was. I actually was not at that Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, so I didn't hear it firsthand. I wasn't in the room, but the Planning and Zoning Commission allowed those to be overlooked, set aside. Well, so their vote is a recommendation to you. It's not any binding vote. So it's a recommendation to you that it can be approved without those. The staff recommendation to you is it's more protective of the city and the neighbors to include them. And then it's your decision.
Oh, and Noel, can you explain Q?
Hold on. Alderman Felix?
Can you go over Q, what that means?
Sure. So Q says the landscape setback areas along the west and south property lines of the parking lot will be improved with a solid screen of plantings, a minimum of 3 feet in height, no later than 24 months after the approval of this ordinance. If shrubs are installed, no less than 50% must be evergreens. So there's a required setback from residential neighbors of 5 feet. The variances cover the fact that the building sits up to the lot line on the north half of the west lot line and the north lot line. So those are covered in the variances, but the other parts that are adjacent to the parking lot, the south half of the west lot line and the south lot line, abut residential district zoning next door. So that would require the 5-foot setback. And that has to be a solid screen of plantings, so bushes, shrubs, some kind of green plants that start at least 3 feet high. Bless you. As I stated a little bit ago, the zoning ordinance allows us to allow up to 24 months for that installation, so that's what we're recommending here, that be installed within 24 months. We know a new business can't necessarily do that the first day. They may not have the cash flow. It may be January with a bunch of snow and temperatures below 0 and they can't plant plants right now, and so we allow some time for that to take place. And then this says if the shrubs are installed, no less than 50% must be evergreens, which is standard language also in the code.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. So Commissioner Sillis tells me that one of the signs for which the petitioner applied, the permit was approved today.
Right. Yeah.
And the other one's being removed or has been removed?
All right, so thank you,
Will be.
Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like if I understand this, the motion that's before us is to approve this application with and include items N through R.
So actually, just to clarify, and I do apologize for the confusion, we were still on item A, which is the variances for minimum lot size, front setback, and landscape buffer requirements. The conditions would all be included in item 7B. So you could take them out of order if you'd like, but or you could just vote on 7A and then move on to 7B, where the conditions would be addressed.
Corporation Counsel, so if light item A is voted down, then light item B is basically mute, isn't it?
I do not believe that the conditional use permit could be, I guess that's a fair question. The issue is that you have a building that exists on the property, and that to legally be able to operate it, it needs these variations to basically be brought back. It needs these variations to continue in operation. So yes, if you voted down 7A, it would not be a legally conforming business.
Correct.
So we have a motion and a second, Alderman Turner and Alderman Bolton on item A. Can we vote on item A? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Yeah, sorry, this is the ordinance. Yeah.
New business.
7A, under new business, it is the variances for minimum lot size, front setback, and landscape buffer requirements applicable to garages.
Proposal that we,
This is the original proposal. The conditions that we were just talking about, that comes in on 7B. That's in 7B, the next item. They both, and once again, I apologize for the conversation. Basically, there's no proposal to change 7A. But both of these apply to this business. So I would say deal with 7A, and then next, when we get to 7B, we can start going through the conditions.
I'm gonna state yes.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, now, item B. Can I get a motion on the floor? For item B.
Motion.
Alderman Donnerworth,
Second.
second by Alderman Turner,
And this is with the additional conditions? not
and
to
this is
create-
with all the conditions.
Yeah, I was going to ask for clarification from the movement. Alderman Donnerworth, are you moving to accept with all of the conditions that were included, printed out, which include N through R, which are shown in bold and italic text in the version that was on board docs?
So if you want to discuss it, then we want to discuss it, right? We don't have the opportunity to discuss it if he's moving it forward.
We just,
I just want to see, I want to ask what he's moving to approve. After a motion and a second is made, then you can discuss the motion, you can amend the motion, but I need to know what we're starting with, basically.
To approve them all.
Okay, so we have a motion, and does the second agree with that clarification?
Yes, I'll agree, but I'm gonna pull some out.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use permit, including items N through R, which were recommended by staff.
When do we make the recommendation to amend?
But yeah, I'm just stating what the motion was, and then you can discuss, amend after. I just want to make sure that for the clerks. Okay. So, floor is back to the chair.
so, let me make sure I understand.
Confusing.
The motion is to accept all the conditions N through R. That's what we're voting on.
That is what is on the floor and is subject to discussion, amendment, or other action.
All right. I would like to make a motion to amend the
Alderman
motion.
Turner.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to amend the motion to include item N, O, and N and O. N, O, and R. And I want to remove requirements P and Q. My motion to amend the motion.
Second. But don't we have still something on the floor?
Well, hold on. So we have a motion. We have a motion to amend the prior motion to remove items, to remove conditions P and Q. That was made by Alderman Turner, and a second by Alderman Felix. That motion is now up for discussion.
I have a question. So, as his recommendation, can you explain why you want to remove those two, P and Q? Amend.
Excuse me. Item P, that parking lot, it says that the parking lot will be improved with a landscape setback area, et cetera, in a minimum of 5 feet. It's already a very small lot, and now you're taking away an additional 5 feet. And it just doesn't make sense to me to impose further limitations and costs on the business. Item Q, the landscape setback areas along west and south lines of the property lot will be improved with a solid screen of plantings We're already forcing them to put in a privacy fence. Now you want to make them put in a solid screen where nobody can see into the lot. And I think that lends itself to my previous comment, but also poses a potential security concern where you can't see in there and see what's going on in a high crime neighborhood.
Alderman Newsom. May I just clarify one thing?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Condition N regarding the privacy fence is only on the south lot line. So I would request that perhaps that be amended to also be the open portion of the west lot line, so that it has the effect of buffering the residential neighbors, which was the intent of the landscaping.
I agree to that. At least we have the divide. They can have their privacy, but a P and Q, I think that's good. But he didn't call in. Did you call in? You called in? No, right? Yeah. So
He was leaving N in, but I was suggesting since the landscape requirements were for the south and west lot lines, that perhaps N be amended to also include the west portion of the property where
Putting a
there
fence
isn't a
there.
building.
oh, yeah. I mean, I agree to that. At least they have the privacy.
Can I ask a question?
Alderman Florian.
Didn't the applicant already agree to these conditions?
No.
Their request was to remove these particular ones.
Alderman Bolton, this is in your ward. It's on a very visible street. I'd like to hear your opinion of creating less beauty around the property in such a small area and up against residents' houses right there.
So your question is less beauty. Clarify what you're asking.
Well, they're saying they don't want any trees or bushes or anything to help buffer the neighbor from having this auto repair business right next to them. So I'm asking your opinion since it's in your ward.
They're going to park cars. No parts or anything is going to be stored outside.
Well,
I
if
wasn't talking to you
the
either,
owner
Alderman
could
Florian.
come forth. So it definitely could be beautified, but it shouldn't have these restrictions either, especially when it influences the operation.
But how does it influence the operation?
How does it influence trees? And, beautified, they could put flowers if they want it beautified.
I say we vote on it, move forward, please.
Why are we so opposed to trees? Why are we so opposed to shrubs? Why are we so opposed to landscaping? Why are we so opposed to, when we approve a business, not thinking about the community as a whole?
Because it's private property.
This isn't a big ask. Listen, we have a business that already violated our city code before they even came before city council. The last time they came before city council, they were argumentative. And this time, when we're sitting, and right here, my point is made. And they have blurted out during our debate on whether we should approve these or not. They clearly can't contain themselves here and conduct yourself professionally. Are you going to treat your neighbors professionally?
Well,
you're not helping your cause, man. But
Can we allow
can I say something?
order?
Audience, sir. No.
yes.
Sir. Alderman Hayes.
Sir,
Don't talk back and
we're
forth.
trying to help you out. So we're moving in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction.
I think that's the problem we
Not
have is that
again.
Don't talk to the audience, please.
Yes.
the problem we have is that they're trying to help an individual business without thinking about the community as a whole.
That is incorrect.
I don't see in the first ward, or any ward for that matter, the harm in having businesses plant shrubs and beautify their establishment, especially with these auto repair shops that leave oil, tanks of miscellaneous substances around on the outside. They park their cars right up against the car right up against the curbs, sometimes over the sidewalks. We got to be thinking about the city as a whole. That is our job, not an individual business that clearly can't contain themselves. So, I thought Alderman Florian's question to Alderman Bolton was a fair question. I would just put the question to all city council members, and I would ask for you to think and consider about the community as a whole. Not just the first ward, but the entire community. When we are asking for not very much here, what are we asking for? A solid screen of plantings to be planted within 2 years? Or an improved landscape setback? We're not shooting for the moon here. We're asking for them to join the community and trying to pick up the community, try to beautify the community. I think it's a reasonable ask. And I think the more and more we continue to give on this and debate this and to prove to our constituents and people in the community that we don't take this seriously, the less credibility we have.
Alderman Victor.
It's not fair, Alderman Hayes, that you are first painting them in a bad light and then putting in an argument as to why we shouldn't do this. And it's not an environmental issue, is that they're losing space. So that's what we're trying to do. Make sure that they're able to, that's why they got the spot, to use the space for those reasons. So I don't think it's fair publicly that you're here saying that they're bad people. That's how it sounds. That's what you're saying. That's how it sounds.
Not put words in my mouth, and the ordinance was in place before they decided to start this business.
Not, the old business didn't do it.
That's the point. That's the point we've debated all along, is that these restrictions are not imposed on the existing businesses. It's on the new businesses.
The fence will be there, and this is something that they brought up, that is an issue. So, and I think we should just go for vote, and then we can move forward.
Hold on. If they don't put in shrubs, you wanted item P pulled out.
P and Q.
P and Q. There is no fence on the, the southwest portion, the west and south portion and east line of the property. So you want them to stay exposed to the neighbors?
No, we agree to what you said.
No. That's what you're getting ready to vote on with him removing P.
May
I want to make sure that we yes, we for the neighbors, so they get their privacy, but also, so Stu, can we add that? Or I don't know what you...
To either you're adding a fence for privacy or you're adding shrub for privacy.
No, man.
Stu, is that true?
Okay, just to clarify. The motion that is on the floor is to remove P and Q. There was some crosstalk about adding to N another one of the property lines, extending the privacy fence, and I wasn't sure which cardinal direction was being discussed. Okay, so currently N says that a privacy fence must be placed on the southern property line. If you want to further amend and add western, we'll need basically either a motion from that or the movement who made the original motion to amend could add that in. But no one's made that motion. There's just been crosstalk at this point.
Can we agree? I mean...
Hold on. Alderman Turner.
Thank you.
And then Alderman Florian.
Thank you. All right, so you guys keep talking about the neighbors are going to see something, right? You're going to see cars. Previous line items to this state clearly that no vehicles or any equipment associated with the repair shop may be stored or displayed within a public right-of-way. Contiguous curbs and fuel stops must be included, so they're not overriding the sidewalk. All repair vehicles must take place within the confines of the building. All parking on vehicle properties must be dust-proof surface, blah, blah, blah. And all used tires must be removed, etc. There's nothing's going to be stored outside but a car. You see them all the time. So I don't see where this is such a big problem. This is a very small lot. These guys need all the space they can get. Forcing them to set back another 5 feet, take away 5 feet of their lot, and install shrubbery just because somebody might drive by and see a car sitting on their lot. It just doesn't make sense. We can't be business friendly if we're not business friendly. We have to let businesses do business as the business thinks it is best for them to do with their business and their property.
Alderman Florian?
Noel, could you tell me why you wanted the shrubs there?
Yes, it is a requirement in the code for a buffer from residential properties. All of the adjacent properties are zoned residential, as is this one. So this is already an extension of the rules to allow the continued nonconformity and apply the B2 requirements to it.
And I don't remember if it happened at planning and zoning or at the committee, but they admitted when they were talking back and forth up here, the applicants, that they got kicked out of the last place that they had their business. Do you remember that?
I believe that was at Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay.
We weren't kicked out.
Okay.
If you're gonna go technical, go back to the video and know exactly what I said.
Okay.
Sir, please, please.
Unbelievable.
Alderman Guzman?
Okay, I think two aldermen have already called for a vote on this, so I'll be the third one. So let's go for a vote and let's move forward so we can
Yes,
move
please.
on with this,
So-
because it's already getting really late.
Okay, so the motion as it currently stands, is to amend the conditions to remove P and Q. There's been no further motion to add a privacy fence on any of the other property lines, except currently it's required on the southern property line. There is a house on the western property line and on the northern property line, just for reference. Not a
So
recommendation.
can I make a motion on top of that motion, or? No. Okay. let's just-
Okay, just so we don't get into like a whole Russian doll scenario where we got motions within motions within motions, if you have a recommendation, perhaps you could ask if Alderman Turner is willing to add to his amendment.
I would like to add that they put in the privacy fence on the western side of the property as Ms. Kirscher-Lepper has suggested.
And I
Okay.
second that.
And that would be on item N.
All right, so does the original person who seconded the amended motion agree to that?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Okay.
Alderman,
All right, so what
Is-
we have now is I'll just clarify the motion one more time.
is
So-
that I just have a question. Is that private fence on the south end, the west end, and the north end?
On the north side, the building takes up most of the lot line there.
Okay.
So
Is there something there on the north end?
on the north side, I can pull it up and pass my phone down the line. There's a driveway and a garage.
Can the applicant speak?
We ready to
Yeah,
vote?
I would like to hear from them.
Please give your name.
My name is Devato Orozco. Thank you for having me. First of all, you guys want shrubs right next to his windows. He already has shrubs on his property line. Where it meets the lot, there's already shrubs there. On the west side, there's already a fence. On the north side, there's a driveway. There's the neighbor's driveway. There's no room for none of this.
So nothing
We've
on
been
the
going back and
end.
forth for weeks, months now, about the same thing. You say you've been to the location. How do you want shrubs right next to shrubs? I don't get it. The south side, where my property meets the neighbor, there's shrubs. You can see shrubs right there, right next to the lot.
Am I allowed to engage with the audience
There's
member?
pine trees right there, isn't that what?
Okay,
Call for the vote.
okay.
I don't get it.
Thank you, sir.
I say let's take a vote on it,
I think we're
please.
ready
Move
to
or
vote
take a
on
vote.
it with, you made the amendment,
Right,
Alderman
I'm
Felix.
gonna take that fence on the west side out there anymore.
There you go.
Voting as our pros. Take out P and Q, please.
Okay, so let's move forward, let's get voting.
Without the amendments.
That's fine.
Hold on.
He wants to take he wants to leave it like he had it.
Okay, so we are Okay, so we are not amending the amendment. We're just going to stick with the original amendment, which was to approve all the conditions with the exception of P and Q.
Yes.
All right. With no further discussion, you can call for a vote. And keep in mind, this is just to amend the ordinance, and we will have to vote again on the amended ordinance.
I'm ready.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye, but I also want to go in front of the record and make sure that I'm not insensitive to trees. I do know that they have very limited space, but also I just don't want another empty building there. All right, so I'm voting aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donilworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman. Motion passed.
So that's
Okay,
with
so
the,
now we need to vote. The ordinance has been amended. Now you need to vote on the ordinance as amended. Sorry, this is parliamentary procedure.
okay.
Okay, so we are voting on the ordinance, including the amendments which were just approved. And once this is done, then we move on to other items.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donilworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed as amended.
Okay, for items C, D, and E, Alderman Guzman.
For the benefit of the ordinance, for the benefit of the audience and at home, Alderman Guzman recuses himself from all decisions on liquor license applications and also anything dealing with our liquor regulations.
Item C, can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Alderman Turner, second by Alderman Martinez. Ordinance creating a Class F-1 packaged beer, wine, and gasoline sales liquor license for 3201 Waukegan Gas LLC, located at 3201 North Lewis Avenue, referred by Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Roll call.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donilworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
No.
Okay.
What was it?
Oh.
4.
So if it's a tie, then the ayes win, right?
Motion fails.
Fails?
Yeah. Yeah.
Motion failed. Can I get a motion on, for item D?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner. Second.
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Donilworth. Item D, ordinance creating a Class A tavern liquor license for Greenwood Liquor LLC, DBA Quick Stop Food and Liquor, located at 625 West Greenwood Avenue, considered and given a negative recommendation by the Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Nay.
Felix.
This is to pass the license, correct?
Excuse me?
This is to create a new license, a new available license for this, yes.
Oh, aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donilworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
No.
Motion fails.
Motion failed. Can I get a motion for item E, ordinance create?
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Ordinance, motion by Alderman Donnerworth first. Second by Alderman Turner. Item E, a ordinance creating a Class A tavern liquor license and granting associated video gaming for 36 North Genesee Street LLC, DBA, the tap room located at 36 North Genesee Street, considered and given a negative recommendation by the Community Development Committee on January 2nd, 2024. Can I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Martinez.
Nay.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
No.
Motion failed.
And we shut down another business.
Motion failed. Item F, ordinance amending certain sections of Appendix B of the City of Waukegan Code of Ordinance to remove prohibited, remove prohibition on eye-catcher signs sponsored by, get here,
Alderman Guzman.
Sorry. We don't have to have them. We are on item F. Ordinance amending certain sections of Appendix B of the City of Waukegan Code of Ordinance to remove prohibition on eye-catcher signs sponsored by Alderman Turner, referred by the Community Committee of the Whole on January 2nd, 2024. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner. Second. Can I get a second? Phil, a second?
Oh, Mike.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donnerworth. Do I need to read that again? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
No.
Was that a no, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Motion passed, 5-4. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, Alderman Guzman.
Did he vote?
He didn't, I'm sorry, I omitted him.
This one I had issues with. I thought it was supposed to be pulled so it can do variances on certain times you can use it and certain times you can't.
So just to be clear, the eye catcher signs would basically be considered as temporary signs if they are not prohibited. If they're no longer prohibited, and I can ask either Noel or George to stand up, but if they are not prohibited, they would be treated as temporary signs at that point. And therefore, the requirements for a temporary sign, I don't have them at my fingertips, but I can pull them up while George tap dances for a few minutes.
Mr. Sellis?
Yes. So my understanding of the ordinance was written is that they're going to be temporary. They'll have to pay a permit fee, and they'll be 30 days. They'll be allowed to be up, and then at that point they'll have to remove them, or they can apply for another 30-day, but they're only allowed 3 30-day time permits.
Sounds good. I'm ready to vote. Aye.
Okay, motion approved.
Was part of the motion to hire additional code enforcement officers that can actually go out and police this?
Motion carried.
It'll be part of my budget.
Item G, which is, we got one more after that. Item G, discussion of creation of Human Services Committee of City Council, sponsored by Alderman Felix, referred by the Committee of the Whole on January 2nd, 2024. Discussion?
Yeah, so, if I may.
Did you want to speak first? Alderman Felix first.
So we did amend it, and to add a wider range of things that we can address, which is a human services component to it. I was going to ask Stu to go over it as well, what we changed. If you could bear with me.
He'll be right back.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Oh.
Alderman Turner?
Yeah, so this, in committee of the whole, we talked about creating a public safety committee. There was never any mention of a human services committee. So I don't know how this got on the agenda.
So this is to add, we're amending it to add, are we amending it? No. We're just adding to it, correct? Stu?
So this is for discussion. This was advanced out. After it was advanced out of committee of the whole, Alderman Felix reached out to Corporation Counsel and said that what had been discussed wasn't really what he was envisioning, and he wanted to broaden the scope of that. They're bringing this up. They're bringing up the presentation now. And once again, this is just for discussion. So as Alderman Felix was the original sponsor of this, we gave him the privilege of giving some more additional input. But once again, this is not for any sort of final action tonight, so you're free to discuss what you think this committee should actually encompass, and Alderman Felix can go through.
Yeah, so first it would be, we want to make sure that it's a public safety committee, right? But there's other things that involve safety, like mental health and stuff like that. And we would add that. So what's proposed is to be a public safety and health services committee. And you guys got the email, what was added to that? Lynn?
Thank you.
Alderman Floria?
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Newsom. So my question about it is, you said that the committee itself is going to create the committee. So I'm still a little confused about that, because you don't want the mayor picking who's on the committee. So how do we have a committee vote if we don't have a committee? And who's going to decide who the chairman is of the committee?
That's up to us. So
Who's us?
all the council.
Okay, I was talking to a 9-year-old about this concept, and he said, that's not going to work, because somebody's going to have to vote for someone other than themselves, or you'll never get, like, even a 9-year-old understood that this wasn't a great possibility. And I am highly against, I know this has been one Alderman Turner's pet projects, but I'm highly against him being chairman of the committee, because he does not allow aldermen who are not on a committee to speak during his committee. I really propose this be all of us on this committee, because we all are affected by this, every ward, and it's something novel, it's something new. I think we should just create it as sort of a subgroup of the committee of the whole. We're all on the committee, the mayor chairs it, because it really doesn't matter who chairs it as long as it's not Alderman Turner. So I just think we all should be on it, and we should just create this whole new subcommittee of the committee of the whole, and then we all can be here. All of our residents feel like they can come and speak. It can meet once a month or whatever you're thinking. But I just think we all should be on here. It feels kind of almost like when you pick teams in 6th grade, and there was always one person who got picked last or didn't get picked at all. And I don't think that's how this committee should roll, in my opinion.
If that's the argument, then you would say that for all the committees, because all the committees are very important, that we want to have a say-so in before it gets into council. So, I mean,
I'm offended.
In this case, we have the ability to say, okay, majority, right? I mean, majority would pick the, I'm I'm not saying it has to be me, if you guys want it to be me, but it doesn't have to be me. That's what we're discussing here. But in terms of okay, let's separate it. Besides picking the person, the people, right? Do you have questions of the actual committee itself? Okay.
I'm happy you made amendments to it to include other things, other than
Yeah.
just police and fire. Because I don't think it's our job to tell the policemen and the firemen how to run their departments. They have highly qualified, experienced individuals running those departments, and we are legislators. So I don't believe we should be telling them how to run their departments.
That was never the point of this committee. Just like the Community Development Committee, we don't tell Noel what to do, right? We vote on things that we either, us as legislators bring forth, or them as a department heads bring forth as well. So that's, you know, rest assured that's not what the committee is for.
Alderman Guzman?
Okay, Alderman Florin just said, we're not here, we're just here to legislate. Then and that other departments are doing a great job on policing themselves and everything. I agree with that, okay? But that's why City of Chicago developed COPA, other cities developed on internal affairs, so on and so forth. But this is not that kind of a committee, so I think it's a good idea. It already moved forward. Now it is being restructured on who gets to come on here. So I don't think it should be a committee of the whole. All of us there, because look, what we've had, 7 or 8 items, and how many months we've been at this? So when is anything going to be moved forward on this committee if all of us are there? Because we all have our discussions, and it could be a long discussion. I mean, look at what happened earlier. I mean, what are we here, 40 minutes just discussing over a shop to move forward? And we couldn't move to a vote after how many aldermen said, let's go for a vote? 3, 4 aldermen? Let's move forward. Let's move forward. And we still kept debating and debating, debating and debating. That's why committees are into smaller portions, which is a 3, 4 person committee. They talk about it, and it moves forward to the full council with approval or negative. Because no matter what, nothing's going to move forward without the full council vote. And then we could come here with the full council, and then we could debate it, and then move forward, or put it on the consent agenda and just move forward everything.
And Stu,
Hold on. Alderman Turner?
Yeah, I don't see why this is so difficult to establish this committee, but I do want to point out that, you know, we started talking about a public safety committee, and the idea was that just as it says up there, it's going to be just like any other standing committee. In the past, there's been a public safety committee as part of the standing committees. I don't see why we need to change that. I don't understand, Victor, what you want to do with human services. You mentioned mental health. What are we going to do about mental health? Are we going to start the Waukegan health department or something? I don't know. I think we need to stick with what we need, and that is a public safety committee to address issues like we're going to discuss in a minute, item Q. We're going to at the committee of the whole, we discuss speed humps and bumps and those kinds of things. So those are the kinds of things that should be discussed in that committee. And I know Alderman Florian rejects the idea of me being the chairman. I didn't ask to be the chairman, Alderman. And the way we have envisioned picking the committee was that somebody would make a motion and somebody would say, just like we do any other motion. So I think we should take a vote on this one.
We're not voting on this, it's just discussion. So, Alderman Felix?
Stu, just to make sure, because when I spoke to Kelly over the phone, I wanted to make sure that we were able to discuss, but also if it was, you know, over adding the human services part, but also to be able to vote on it. Can we review the minutes or?
The issue is that what was referred out of committee is different than what you had, what you're talking about is different than what had been referred out of committee. We can take if there's a consensus tonight, we can take direction and put together an ordinance. But right now, you know, there seems to be a lot of questions as to, one, what the subject matter of the committee is, and then two, how it's formed. And I think you're having a good discussion. I mean, and I think that's important. But we as Corporation Counsel need consensus direction from at least 5 of you.
So I'm pretty sure, so for the most part, can we all agree that we agree what this is about? I mean, we had added a human services component because that means, it doesn't mean that it's gonna focus solely on that, but those things will come through this committee as they arise, just like public safety, like what? Oh, we have ideas, they will come through here.
Alderman Florian?
So I'm sorry, I had to step out, but, and I apologize if I missed this, but can you, again, Alderman Felix, explain why, unlike all the other committees and the history of the city of Waukegan, that you don't want the mayor to pick the members of this committee?
Because we didn't have a say-so.
You approved them, sir. We voted on all these committees when she presented them to us. And you had a chance to speak up just like you do on any other ordinance or vote and say, I agree with this or I don't agree with that, but all of us voted, I believe it was 9-0, that this was what the committees were going to be like. And you just said earlier, it doesn't really matter what happens in the committee because it get referred to the council anyway. So I'm confused when some of you up here have higher aspirations to be mayor someday. Now you're going to take some of the power away from the mayor. I don't get it.
Stu, is that true? Did we have a say-so, or were we appointed?
The committees are created by the mayor, or they are assigned by the mayor with the consent of the council. So basically, you're both kind of right in the idea that although the mayor makes the decisions, the council has to approve, but the city council itself does not choose the membership. They have to either vote yes or no on suggestions made by the mayor.
So the committees that I approved it in my term?
I believe.
Yes,
Yeah, we'd have to
you
look it up.
did. It would have been at your first meeting when you came in as an alderman. That's when the committees are selected.
Are you 100% sure?
20 years, sure.
David, Stu?
But
I'd have to look back at the meeting, and I can. But the point, one of the points is though that the city council has the right to organize itself as it sees fit. It does so through an ordinance. The ordinance establishes committees of a council and says that these committees are selected by the mayor and the chair is appointed by the mayor. That ordinance is legislation which can be amended. And that's, I mean, that's the real point here.
If I may, please. Can I?
This is the last question on this because this is discussion only. We will give a direction to Corporation Council after this question.
So Stu just pointed out that committees are designated by the mayor and approved by the council, et cetera, and the chairman is appointed and so forth and so on. That's absolutely correct. But the reason we're having this discussion, that we're trying to establish this committee, is because after asking the mayor 11 times to establish a public safety committee, she totally disregarded those requests. So now you have aldermen stipulating through an ordinance amendment that we want that committee. And furthermore, the reason that we want to choose who sits on that committee amongst all of us, Lynn, not just a few of us, but amongst all of us, is because we don't trust the mayor. She's demonstrated time and time again that she will slow walk things, she will disregard the will of the council. So why, and we have the ability as legislators to create this committee that the mayor doesn't want. How do we know that? Because she refused to commit to create the committee after being asked 11 times?
I'd like to say that, if I'm not mistaken, the last administration took away the police and safety committee, not this administration. Why didn't you put up a stink then? You approved it. All right. Corporation Council, action, I would say, would be to the next committee meeting, February 2nd. Maybe we'll have something that you and Alderman Felix can have ready to present
Yeah, I mean,
for a vote.
so, I mean, we have language. We can put it together into an ordinance, and then do you want it on committee of the whole, or do you want it on new business?
It was, it's on new business, I guess.
So it'll
It was
be
on for discussion, though, right? So is it going to be on for
And under new
discussion
business.
again on new business, or is it going to go back to committee of the whole?
Excuse me, Mayor.
Hold on. Corporation Council?
That is the decision of the council as to what you would like to be what you want on the agenda. And I would ask that whatever you want on the agenda, that you provide me with clarity. The language, it was posted on board docs. I can recirculate it if you'd like. But basically, the amendments are up on the screen right now. And if you would like me to bring an ordinance for an up or down vote, I can do that.
Stu, and I just want to make sure, because I know it's 9 o'clock, and it says discuss here. So what Stu is asking is, this is the part where we discuss. Like, okay, so if we're all in agreement in terms of the language it has, what the use is for, the last thing that is missing is that whether we decide if we're going to, who are we going to choose as, who to be in the committee. Just like any other committee, we should keep it like all the other committees. What do you guys think?
Alderman Bolton?
Yes, I think you had some feedback you want to share with us.
I just had a question because I saw CDBG, and I wanted to know what that meant because nobody talked to me about what that meant. So I just had a question about how that would impact me since I'm CDBG director.
Yeah, that falls under human services in some communities, and it would just be a matter of when items come up, whether they would be considered by this committee rather than community development, for instance. And
See, that's a problem. Because this is federal money. It's timeline restrictions, so that's what I'm saying. You put that up there, but I wasn't nobody talked to me about it, so I was just, since we're discussing it.
I think it should remain, pardon me, for discussion. It sounds like no one's really in agreement on what this committee really looks like, and it has continued to evolve and change. Alderman Turner was even caught off guard by the human services element of it tonight. So it seems to me like further discussion needs to be had before it's brought for an up or down vote as to what falls under that committee, what the committee's intentions and purposes are, and whether the directors that are implicated by the committee are even open to having their departments or the work that they do transferred from one committee to another. So I think it should be.
I agree.
Because just like any, I don't think we understand what a committee is. So it's not gonna, still, am I right? It's not gonna affect, it's just where it's coming through, and then we talk about it, discuss it, just like it would be in the community development committee. It's the same process. We're not creating a board or commission where people throw in their opinions and whatnot. That's a board and commission. We're talking about a committee here, and this is where we're gonna focus we're gonna try to champion even more or help even, but it's not gonna affect anything you bring through. You're gonna do your what you do best in your department, and it's just going to come through, and we're going to vote for it in this committee. And those are the things that are involving human services. It's not that we're going to try to put a stop to it or anything like that. That's not part of this committee.
I just think if we don't have clarity on what the committee is, what it looks like, what it's going to be deciding on, who's going to fall under its umbrella, then it should remain for discussion. I'm not saying I'm not in favor of it. I'm just saying it doesn't sound like everyone's on the same page or ready for an up or down vote.
I think that's what we're doing here. We're discussing it. Am
I
right?
think, if I could say, I validate that. We need further discussion and clarity so we can really solidify what this is really all about and how it affects our departments. Thank you for responding.
Okay.
I got one thing to say before.
Okay, we're going to turn this over to Corporation Counsel. We're going to have to make a decision to bring it back on February the 2nd. We've done a lot of discussion. February the 2nd, can this be put in along with the bags for Committee of the Whole and possibly move forward if it has the votes to move forward to the council that night?
Actually, I got a comment on that because it already left the Committee of the Whole, so it has to come back.
Not in this form.
So
Not
there-
in this form.
So there we go. We're stalling again.
Yep.
'Cause
We
that
need,
means it's gonna-
we need a lot of discussion on this.
It already moved past Committee of the Whole as a Public Safety Committee.
So
it's
now this
out.
is, so this
So
is,
now we're out here at the full council.
so it's now a Human Resources Committee.
Not human.
So, Committee of the Whole, February 2nd. Was it February 5th?
5th is the first meeting in February.
Okay, February 5th. Why am I saying 2nd? Because it was January 2nd. February 5th. Monday.
It's a Monday.
Monday, February 5th. Committee of the Whole, and then I guess it can move forward to, if there's a, we still have another item on here. Item Q. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Alderman Martinez. Item Q, waiving the competitive and approving a proposal for a feasibility study from FGM Architects, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $121,000 referred by Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024. We had some discussion in the Finance Committee regarding this item, and Corporation Counsel will make sure, if it moves forward, that they will have 2 phases. There will be a feasibility study, but also the second phase you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we will define in the scope of work that the work done by the architects will be a phase 1 of a general needs and equipment study that would look at the kind of the base needs of the police department for whatever location they might be in. And then phase 2, which would follow chronologically, would focus on either one or more sites based on further discussions by the city council. But would not focus on, right now, the proposal focuses on an adaptive reuse of the existing footprint of the police station.
So we have a motion on the floor, Alderman Martinez, second by who?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Bolton. Questions?
Mayor?
Alderman Turner?
Thank you. So I'd like to hold this over until February 19th meeting and go into closed session at that time. This relates to a real estate issue, and we don't want to discuss that here in open council. But I will say that I'm very disappointed. Back in August, we started talking about this police station and this real estate issue, right? And it got slow walked all the way through November, and we went into closed session, and suddenly, as we sat at the conference table, then we're given a report that says, don't do it. And we were going to bring that, we were going to continue discussion and pursuing that matter. Nothing happened, and now we come here, and we're looking to spend $221,000 on a feasibility study. This is bad. And included in this feasibility study is a environmental assessment. And I remember when we discussed the real estate deal in the back room, the mayor mentioned several times that there might.
I'm not entirely sure we're allowed to disclose
there
what's
might
been discussed
be-
in executive
there- Thank you,
session.
sir. There might be an environmental concern. Not that there is, but there might be. But we don't know that because we didn't do a environmental assessment. We didn't talk to the guy or the seller or anything of that nature. We did no pursuit of what the will of the council, the will of the 5 aldermen was. And so I want to hold this one over until February 19th. We can go back into executive session. And I do have some additional information that I would like to share about the property.
There is no meeting
Alderman
on February
Florian.
19th. It's President's Day.
February 20th.
February 20th. Thank you, Alderman Florian.
This was discussed at the committee level, I think a reasonable resolution. I think Alderman Guzman even agreed that there was a reasonable resolution to moving forward with the feasibility study that has to take place either way. So why delay it? So I would make a motion to override the holdover and get started because we know we're going to have to do this one way or another. So I don't see why we delay it for a month.
I'll second that.
No, I made a motion. I'm waiting for a second. If we don't get a second, then
No, yeah, so once again, the peculiarity of the Waukegan Code, and Kelly knows that she made you guys take a vote on this. You do not actually have to take a vote on a holdover. A holdover is automatic unless there is a vote to override by 2/3 of the city council. So what we would need is we would need 6 votes to override the holdover. Otherwise, this will be placed back on the agenda on February 19th.
February 20th.
20th, yes. February 19th is President's Day, as pointed out by Alderman Florian.
Okay, we have a first and a second to override the holdover and do this needs assessment.
Before we
Alder-
do, before,
Did you got the,
before, I'd like to say something before we vote on
Alderman
this.
Guzman?
Thank you, Alderman Newsom. Okay, so like Alderman Hayes said, so I was going to hold it over on financing and purchasing. Then we decided, well, this had we spoke to I'm not sure your name. I'm sorry, officer that that it has to be done either way. Then under Corporation Council advice, we decided that it should be split in 2. So that you have to do the feasment either way. So that's how come I pulled the holdover and decided to move it forward to the full council. Because no matter what, you have to do it. So it's being done in 2 phases. So I think it's the right move to let's just move this over. And
Okay.
then we
But I
still
have
have
So,
information that
Alderman
we
Turner,
can't breach here.
Alderman
we can't
Turner,
broach it here. I've
please,
got additional
please,
information.
please. There's a motion and a second to override the holdover. Can we get a vote, please?
Alderman Martinez.
Yeah, aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
No.
Alderman Donilworth.
Nope.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. To hold over.
Okay, we'll move forward with this item. Now we will take a vote on this resolution waiving the competitive bidding and approving a proposal for feasibility study from FGM Architects, Inc. with, in the amount of $121,000 referred by the Finance and Purchasing Committee on January 16, 2024, with the phases 1 and 2 to be stipulated by Corporation Council. Can I get we had a motion by Martinez and Bolton. All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
What are we voting for? I'm sorry.
We're voting on the actual, so the holdover failed, and so now we're voting on whether to approve the contract with the phases as discussed.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
I don't see a need to waive the competitive bidding procedure and assign it to one architect. We have local architects, and anybody can do a feasibility study. My vote is no.
Okay. Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, ordinances, none. Item 9, closing items. Alderman's time.
Alderman Newsom.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you mind if I just went first for Alderman time so I
Oh.
can get these
For the sake of the
munchkins to bed?
children.
Okay, who, do we have to? Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Alderman
thank you.
Hayes.
Thank you. I pass.
Thank you.
Alderman Martinez.
Can I go second?
Alderman Martinez.
All right, thank you. I just want to give my condolences to Larry Tempest and his family. He was a true icon here in Waukegan. He helped a lot of people in Waukegan. He is going to be highly missed, so I give my condolences. Known for many, many generations, so there's a lot of Larry Tempest stories to tell, and they're all positive, and so therefore, I do give my condolences to Larry and his family. It is a tremendous loss for Waukegan, so I do wish the family well. I also want to congratulate a business in my ward, Drip and Culture, for receiving the Distinguished Drum Major Award from the MLK Dreamers organization that was held yesterday. So that was a very well deserved. Also, I'd just like to welcome new business into the 3rd Ward. I'd like to welcome Adriano Tax Service at 1601 Grand Avenue. So I expect you solicit them. They are Spanish speaking, so they're available for your tax needs. And also, I also like to welcome again Mobile Gas Station proprietor Abed. If you guys all recall, this gas station was visited, had many problems with the homelessness, had got a lot of complaints. So I did talk to the proprietor, Mr. Abed, and so what he decided to do is not sell liquor at all. And when he did that, all of a sudden it's cleaned up. I'm not targeting any specific population, but just to let you know that this man went out of his way. He doesn't sell liquor. I go by there every other day. The place is cleaned up, and I really commend him. He came in here with a passion and a vision, and so he's delivering. He's always welcoming and want to do more for our community and for our ward. So I do want to commend Abed. Thank you. That's a tremendous step to go ahead and just not sell liquor at all. And his business is thriving. He is open 24 hours a day, and he is on Grand Avenue. He's at the mobile station. With that being said, another big topic that I am still working on is, again, the situation with the Brookside campus with the cars parked in the neighborhood. We did get the ball started. I do understand that there was a meeting held with all the chief heads. So therefore, that's something that I am working on. I do want to see some drastic changes. I did see some of the recommendations that they have. So therefore, that is something that is real deep in my heart that I'm going to try to get something done with that. So I thank those constituents who are very, very patient with me, and also know that we will have something done, and hopefully soon here. Again, I am also creating or actually getting ready to do a 3rd Ward meeting. I'm looking at sometime in March, but I'm trying to get, again, I said this before, but I'm trying to get all my balls in order. I would like to see representation from each department head. That way they can answer those difficult questions that I cannot ask. So I will be reaching out to you guys to see what your availability is, and then I will make it public, and then we'll have our first ward meeting. With that being said, thanks again for Public Works. They did a tremendous job. Even today, I had a call from a senior citizen who basement flooded. And so one of the recommendations that the plumber had is that they get that flushed. I called Public Works and spoke to Alonzo in less than half an hour. They were already out there, and they flushed it in this kind of weather. So this is a tradition that Public Works has with us. You know, and I commend it. I commend Chris Garland, Alonzo. I can't thank them enough. So again, I congratulate you. Thank you guys. The senior citizen she was very happy. So thank you guys for delivering like you guys always do. With that being said, I have nothing else. I just ask my constituents that you be safe, you be mindful, and let's all be a good neighbor. Thank you and good night.
Alderman Felix.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure, I did have a fourth ward meeting. Thank you everyone that showed up. The point of the first ward meeting was to go from the state level all the way to local level to explain what different levels of government work like, and that way we can focus on what we as local politicians can be more involved in, and what we can do on our end. I did videotape it, so I will make it public. That way you guys can see. I did have a few speakers. I do want to thank them for coming with and also educating the public. We had Senator Adrian Johnson. We had Commissioner Anton Matthews. We had Chamber of Commerce. I believe he's running it right now. Michael Reed. We had Mark Jones as well talk about what they do and what their role is in their position and how they impact the community. So I want to thank them, all our guests, and also Yvonne from the casino. He's head of HR. He also explained what opportunities exist in Waukegan. I will put it up so you guys can see. And lastly, we had UMA, an organization that is helping the community with a lot of things, job preparedness, resumes, Spanish speaking, English speaking, get them to the level where they can take advantage of these opportunities that are in Waukegan, like our casino. So they were there, and I want to thank them very much because together we can educate our community as to what we can do on our end. Also, I do want to mention that a meeting with the department heads last week, I got to learn a lot about what we can and can't do. But one thing that is big in the fourth ward that we should pay attention to is the streets. Unless we do the surveys, we will not have priority in our streets. So we need to make sure we take care of those surveys. We can even gather up and you know, and knock on doors and get these surveys done so we can focus on fixing our streets, and also we need to get that done as soon as possible. I'll put more information online as well. There was comments that people didn't know about my ward meeting, and I do want to let people know. For the most part, I'm more active on Facebook, so you guys can follow me on my Alderman page. It's Alderman Victor Felix over the 4th Ward. Find me on Facebook. I will put things on there. But if you cannot reach me, or you don't see my things, or you're not on Facebook, please, you know, reach out to me and let me know what the best form of communication is for you, where I can put these events and notifications for the public to be more aware. I did attend the Dreamers breakfast from Mike Jones and Township that they hosted. It was an amazing people were there. Event was great. So kudos to the Waukegan Township for putting up a great event. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem Mayor Newsom.
I will pass. I gave my comments in the beginning of the meeting. Thank you.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Clerk. I just want to make a couple of comments about my friend Larry Tempest, who passed last night or this morning. And you know, Larry and I had a very interesting relationship that evolved over 20 years. And you know, I'll always remember how his laugh and how he would always call me Keith E. Keithy. Hey, Keithy. And I would go by his house and sit and just talk with him. And of course, he wanted to get caught up on what's going on in the city and politics. But sometimes we just sit and just shoot the breeze about nothing, you know, tell stories and such. So I'm really going to miss Larry Tempest. You know, a lot of people don't know it. And I'm surprised Alderman Newsom has forgotten. But, you know, I ran for all 6th Ward Alderman back in 2003 to unseat Larry, and he kicked my butt in a big way. But I wasn't through with him. I came back and I ran again in 2007, and he beat me twice as bad. But over the many years, we became very, very close. Now, I'm not close with was I close with Alderman Tempest? He's always going to be my alderman, and I'm very close with his family, and I offer my condolences. All right, so in the 6th Ward, I have 5 winter coats to give away. They're brand new, still in the packaging. I have 1 extra large and 4 double X. Brand new, all right? Reports and communications. We used to get a treasurer's report, and we don't get those anymore. I think last 2 meetings ago I asked about that, getting the treasurer's report again. And so I'd like to get this report. Also, when you guys and ladies approved the rental agreement with the Chamber of Commerce, we stipulated that we get a quarterly report from the Chamber of Commerce, and so now we're due 2 quarterly reports. We haven't had that. I'd like that noted and requested of the Chamber of Commerce to see what they're doing. I'm very interested. 3, we talked about this last meeting, but we used to remove graffiti. Public Works would go out and remove graffiti. If you came home with graffiti on your garage or side of your building or something, they would either remove it or paint over it at no charge to the property owner. And that's something that I think we need to reinstate, and I'd like to make a motion for an ordinance or an amendment to the ordinance, or however it would best be termed, Stuart, that public, they don't do it anymore. I'd like to make a motion that Public Works will paint over or remove graffiti from private property at no charge to the property owner or tenant.
Second.
I'll second.
We can definitely put that on a committee of the whole for discussion and budget impact and a code amendment.
Why would it need to go to committee of the whole? Wouldn't you just go to Public Works Committee?
I mean, it's a new legislative initiative that's been going to, things like that have been going to committee of whole to be, you guys can put it wherever you like.
I'd like it to go to Public Works Committee.
Good evening
Mr.
again.
Sellers?
Yeah. So just so you're all aware, there is a property maintenance code that specifies graffiti needs to be removed by the owner. So if it does need to be changed, that would need to be changed also.
Thank you.
So because we do have the code that says that the owner must remove the graffiti within a certain time period.
Okay, so there was a motion to direct staff to prepare an ordinance.
Prepare or amend. I think we're going to have to amend.
Well, we're gonna have to amend certain provisions of the code or add something as well that would direct, basically, at the request of private property owners to remove graffiti from private property
At no cost to the property owner or resident, tenant.
And that's regardless of budgetary availability, or is that something you'd want to add in the budget?
Well, we've been doing it for decades and eons and generations, and this is a brand new, George says, or building commissioner says it's an existing ordinance, so It only recently came, like with 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, that they would no longer do it. They've been doing it all along, and now they no longer
I
do
like
it.
to attest to that, because if I called and had them to remove it, they will remove it.
Do it, chop, chop.
I would like to say that in my ward, I didn't have a problem. It was at the residents' request because Public Works only has white paint or black paint to use. The resident did not want the city to cover it. They would take care of it themselves because they're not going to do, the city employees are not going to go out there and just really match your paint and take care of your, so they opted to just take care of it themselves.
Right.
So you want the city to,
If the resident requests that the city remove paint over the graffiti, that's what they would do. That you always have the option to take care of your own property. And the reason I want to do this is because most often it's gang graffiti. And if you don't clean up, get over that gang graffiti right away, the next gang, somebody else will put some anti-first gang, and it'll go back and forth, and it'll spread throughout the entire neighborhood. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen here in Waukegan. And I really think this is important. This is something, it's not something new that I'm asking. I'm just asking for a continuation of what we've always done. What's new is now sending requests that the building department has to see it, the code department, code compliance officer has to write a notification, gives the resident so much notice, and then ultimately if the city does it, then the resident gets charged for it. I think it's wrong, and that's my motion. I want to change it. The city has never charged for it in the past, so no. What I'm saying is the new policy is that if they come to your house and paint over your graffiti that some gangster put on there, then you have to pay the city for doing that. I have elderly neighbors, and particularly elderly women who don't have the capacity to paint their garage or the side of their building or whatever. And it's been a courtesy, if you will, that's been in existence forever. I can't think, I've only been here 24 years, so you folks who grew up here, I wonder if anybody remembers a time when you had to actually pay for it.
Before I was an alderman, I would call and ask them to remove the graffiti, even not just my property, but in my alleys and things like this. I don't want the gang activity. And they would come and make those accommodations.
So I was born in the First Ward, born and raised, well, not mostly raised, but I was born in First Ward. I think we moved out when I was like 9 or 10. And I've always noticed since that time, Public Works have always come in there and cleaned the graffiti off the walls.
all right, we're going to allow Alderman Turner to complete his comments.
Yeah, I'm finished. I think everyone knows where I stand. I'd like to call for the vote.
So this would be a vote to direct staff to prepare appropriate code amendments that upon request by a private residential property owner, is it just residential or commercial?
Private property owner.
Any private property owner
Yeah,
request.
Excuse me, if I may. What we want to do is get rid of the graffiti immediately. As soon as it pops up, you come home on Monday evening and it's there, then Tuesday morning, Public Works will go out and get it. That's how they've been operating, and that's what I'd like to continue.
Okay.
Private property, regardless, it doesn't matter. If so, you go to the grocery store and they've got graffiti on there, and they don't get it off right away, so now it sits there for 3 weeks, and some other gang starts with a different color. So the impetus is to remove the graffiti before it grows.
Okay, so on request for private property owner, that the city will remove or otherwise cover it up, and we'll put some stipulations that they don't have to color match or something, and will not charge for that cost. Okay, we'll put that forward and put that on the next public safety meeting, or Public Works and Infrastructure meeting.
All right. So we don't need to take a vote on that, right? Because I'm just making a motion. Thank
Well, I mean, I need direction from the, if you want it on agenda, I need direction. You've got a first and a second, so you should vote on it.
Put it in the committee, yeah.
Oh, the Public Works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, next.
So are
Let
we?
the vote on it.
Yes, I need a vote for direction.
Okay.
Yeah. So, a quick roll call on that.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donalworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes is absent. Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Okay, passes.
Thank you all very much. All right, so next, number 4, regarding these ride-alongs with the police department, it was canceled, and I can go in, I think I've told many of you how that evolved to the point where the entire program was canceled. That program was in effect for generations. I know I spoke with Alderman Donalworth, who retired from the PD after 30 years, and retired. When they were in high school and grammar school, the program was in existence. And Mike, how long you been retired now? 12 years. You've been retired 12, so that's 42 years plus. Well, since 1970. So all of a sudden, police ride-alongs are not allowed, and this affects students that are going through to get their criminal justice degree. They can't get it. They would get credit for those ride-alongs. It was made available to the Police Citizens Academy, and any citizen or resident of Waukegan and beyond could request a ride-along. And that program has been totally canceled. Again, there's this drag about liabilities and such. However, the fact of the matter is, when you do those ride-alongs, you sign a insurance liability waiver, and we have yet to hear of any incidents. But anyway, my motion is for an ordinance or resolution reestablishing the ride-along program with the Waukegan Police Department.
I'll second that.
I think we need to get more information on why it was even canceled in the first place. I haven't even heard from the mayor that it's even canceled.
I'd like to hear from the police chief about it,
Can we talk
too.
to the chief of police as to why before we start making motions?
No, I'll tell you why.
My apologies.
Navarro, there was some question regarding making a motion to bring back the ride-along, and I wanted to hear, I didn't hear officially that it was even canceled. Do you have any information on that?
Yes, so the ride-along program has been canceled temporarily. We were in discussion, I was in discussion with the mayor about bringing it back. And I feel that there is a need for it. We just need to set a policy in a ride-along program that we don't have.
Why was it canceled?
I'm sorry?
Why was it canceled?
There were liability issues with risk management.
All right, Chief, I didn't mean to laugh.
There are some things that are beyond my control.
So there is, oh, okay. There is discussion about bringing it back.
Yes, there
It's a
is.
temporary. Do you know how long this temporary is?
The mayor is on vacation now, but we had a discussion before she left about bringing back the program.
Okay. All right. When she comes back, then Alderman Turner, you can ask. I wouldn't.
No. This would be to put it on agenda. Also, the decision on how to administer the police department lies with the police chief and the mayor, ultimately. So you have a motion, a second, you can do what you want with it.
Motion is to reestablish the ride-along program with the Waukegan Police Department. Alderman Guzman.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
I'm going to vote nay because, per the chief, it's a temporary thing, and they're working out some things to bring it back anyway. So, to put it in a motion, my vote is nay.
And it's so temporary that they didn't even bother to
Alderman Turner,
accomplish it.
your vote, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I can speak before I vote, right? Thank you. So, no email, no announcement, no nothing. You didn't even know it until I just mentioned it. This is not a way to conduct business in the city. So anyway, my vote is aye to reestablish.
Thank you. Alderman Donworth.
Aye.
Florian.
I join Alderman Newsom's sentiment, and I vote no.
Alderman Hayes is absent. Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
And finally, I will have my 6th ward meeting this Friday, January 19th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at 923 West Greenwood. That's just west of Jackson before you get to Walnut. And also it will be simulcast on Zoom and YouTube. Check my social media to get that information. And check your emails, because I sent out the blast email as well. All right, that's all I have. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Alderman Donworth.
Thank you. Yes, I want to express my condolences to the Larry Tempest family. I've done it personally, and I just want to do it up here because he's been around as long as I've been in Waukegan. And little boisterous at times and little disagree, but 9 times out of 10, he was always fighting for what was best for Waukegan. And instead of mourning this, I think we should celebrate his life, honestly. Just go out and think of all the good things you've seen and all the people you've talked to, and think, quote, happy thoughts, if you say that. I'd, of course, like to thank Public Works again. They've been phenomenal. Anytime calling, we had some drifts up in the gardens area there, 2-3 foot drifts, and able to call them, and they were able to plow out the streets, and a couple by us also. And like everyone's been saying, 9 times out of 10, I give them a call, they come out and take care of it. I've also had a problem with a gentleman that had the basement flooding too. And I gave him a call, and like I said, 20 minutes, half hour, they're there. They're flushing the system, and that gentleman's going, it's all gone. It's all taken care of. But I've had a very good relationship with them, and also with the city and the city staff. Anytime I call, anything I need, is taken care of, or anybody in the ward gives me a call, I always give a call, send an email, and I always get responses. And I'm very happy for that. I want to say I was happy to go to the Martin Luther King breakfast. It was really cold out there, but the breakfast was great, and they honored a lot of people, and it was very nice. It was a great, heartwarming breakfast, and the pastors were fantastic, and everyone that spoke was right on the money and thinking ahead. That's what we have to think of. Get along with everybody and just move forward and try to do what you can do. And then just stay safe. Remember, this is cold out there. Remember, wear gloves, wear a hat, and always look around. Just make sure you're safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. I'd like to join everyone in offering my condolences to the Tempest family and thanking Public Works for the good work that they did with the recent weather, and I know they'll continue to do that throughout the rest of the snow season. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bolton.
Yes, I'd like to join in with my peers and also acknowledging Waukegan Township for the excellent event that they presented yesterday. And we need to recognize the Waukegan Township even more because they offer a great deal of services to our community, especially our seniors. Lastly, a couple more things. I also want to join in giving condolence to, for those that have lost their loved ones, especially Alderman Tempest. And lastly, I want to thank my constituents for continuing calling me and letting me know that some of them have not received their garbage cans yet, and they haven't gotten their garbage picked up. But I want to thank Public Works for collaborating with me with those concerns and addressing and resolving those issues. That's all I have.
Thank you. Alderman Guzman.
Good evening. So I want to apologize for the last couple of times I've had to leave early. My job actually calls for emergency services, so I had to cut quick. So some of the stuff I'm about to talk about right now actually should have been talked a couple meetings ago. So again, I apologize. So a couple meetings ago, a lady came up to the podium and said about something about on my property. As long as if there's a storm damage and something comes down, a tree or whatever, it is free. You could call Public Works, you cut it down, you get somebody to get it down, cut it up and put it in front, and Public Works will pick it up for free. I'm not sure if anybody knows that. And we do have more than one storm, so if one tree falls this day, another tree falls that day, then that's what it is. And you get it taken care of and you move forward. Second, the Martin Luther King Township Breakfast, again, I was not able to make it. Obviously, it's because of again, I'm under emergency services. I got called in. But I was speaking to a bunch of people that said it was a great event. And everybody had a good time, and it was a great day for everybody to share a true visionary in American history. Another thing, I just want to clarify again to my constituents, aldermen are legislators. They're not bosses. We don't direct department heads, go do this, go do that. We are not their boss. We are legislators. That is up to the executive branch that is controlled of the department heads and the employees. So we we send emails to directors of different departments, like Director Garland from Public Works, Director Salas, Building Department, Chief Fazer, Chief Navarro, Director Noel, and everybody that's involved in our city services, and we ask, and they help us out, but we do not tell. We are not authorized to order anybody, so that is not our job. So when somebody says, well, you know what, there is a pothole here, have your guy, have your Public Works Department take care of it. And I tell my constituents, I said, sure, no problem. I will forward your message up to Public Works, and then I will ask them to get it done at the earliest convenience. Obviously, they're not going to drop everything just to go fit one pothole. So give me a couple of days or a week or whatever. We are in the snow season, and it'll get taken care of. But again, we ask, we don't order. The pastor who came in today from Zion, I'm glad that we're doing our religion diversify from all denominations, not just one or the other. So I was very happy to say that. Alderman Bolton, congratulations. It's great, and he did a great job on speaking on what it was important and the current prayer. Street repair. Okay, so I want to emphasize this. Okay, so again, there's another thing. When somebody calls us up and says, why hasn't this street been redone or anything like that? We are legislators. Maybe we need to line item to which streets need to be redone, but when we approve a budget, let's say $5 million goes to street repair. That is what it goes to. We don't say, well, this street's going to get this done, this one, this one. Actually, it goes through the mayor or the engineering or chief of staff that delegate to us what streets are getting repaired. So when that comes back to us, then we post it online, and these streets are going to be redone. That's what we tell. But those are not a certainty. Okay, because I had 3 streets that were supposed to be redone last year, and I posted this online, and then I came back and I asked, okay, so what's going on with my streets? And they were never done. So then I had 2 or 3 constituents come up to me and says, well, why did you lie to us? No, actually, I didn't lie. This is what I was told. Unfortunately, certain circumstances happened, and it could not get done. Okay, so I want to apologize for that, and I want to make it very crystal clear that we're not the ones who put this on there. We could call and say, well, this is what we like to do, but we actually don't put the streets on there. Maybe when we do this year's budget, it'll be best to line item and actually say, okay, this is the money where this is going to be appropriated at, and not just give out the bulk of the money. Okay. So earlier today they were talking about reports and stuff like that. That's not the first time I've heard the report issue. Okay, so I understand our reporting does go through online, and it goes through portals and stuff like that. But we got to remember that not a lot of residents are computer knowledgeable. So we still have to cater to those people. If somebody wants to file a report, somebody wants to do a permit or anything like that, if they don't understand the computer process, then it must go back to paper. Okay, so we must be customer service, and we must cater to everybody. Obviously, we want the online thing, because it helps us reduce our payroll, because we don't have to hire as much people, and insurance and so on and so forth. And that's the kind of technological direction we want to go to, but we still must attend to everybody's needs. Public Works, I want to congratulate everybody on the great job you guys are doing out there. Again, I was out for emergency services. I saw all city vehicles up and about. They did a great job. I mean, when they come in there and they just tandem each other and they come up and down the streets, it's a great thing. And I did see an improvement between us and other cities. So I want to give a big shout out to Chris and Alonzo on the great job you guys are doing. And then, because it just came all of a sudden. But it's a great job you guys do. Okay. So I want to ask a question. I think it would be Chief, I think it would be George Bridges, Chief Bridges, sorry. A couple months ago, I would say about a month and a half ago, we approved money spending for ergonomical equipment for like our chairs and get updated and stuff like that. What's going on with that? Because when we get the police cars and stuff like that, when we approve the money, it gets done right away. I mean, this chair, no offense, it kills my back.
The process has started. When you made that purchase, remember, it was a large purchase and it was for multiple departments. And what we had at the briefing for everyone that did come in is that we had the chairs for you to try out. So it's a process to get those done, and we needed your feedback on the chairs. Those that did come in and looked at the chairs stated they wanted something different. So we are bringing other chairs in for you all to try. But thank you for everyone that did come in and try out those chairs. Thank you for your feedback.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know about it, but thank you. I just like wondering. Okay. The last thing I want to discuss is I want to put a motion in to go into closed session. I would say next, let me see, I would say a month from now to discuss a couple employees. Can we do that or not?
Yeah, I would just, yes, we can go into closed session to discuss employee performance. I would schedule some time to speak with me about it, and we can, yes.
Okay. Lastly, I want to say, let's keep an eye on the kids. I mean, I know daytime is getting a little lighter out there, so school buses, let's keep an eye on them. Make sure when you actually see a school bus put out their stop sign, please stop for it, don't go around it. These are our future, these are our kids. And then we can move forward from there. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Ma'am, that concludes Alderman.
Thank you, everyone. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Donnerworth. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Motion carried. We are adjourned at 9:56 p.m. Thank you.